My name is China. Everybody calls me China, and I was brought up in Moilili. It's by university. I went to Coheo School Elementary. I went to Washington Intermediate, and then I graduated from Kaimuki High School. I was brought up by Waikiki Wong. I started body surfing. I started paddleboarding, standing up on a paddleboard. And from there, I told myself, maybe I can learn how to surf. So I went down to Queens, and I met up with some old friends like Buckwheat, some old timers like Robert, Mike Myers, Captain Pooh, and I always used to borrow surfboards from them. But it came to a point that they didn't want me to borrow the boards because I was the kid that was dinging everybody's board that I borrowed. So I was the kid that, don't let him your board, he's gonna just ding your board. So, that kind of pushes you to be better instead of always wiping out and smashing other people's boards and stuff. So I made it a point to learn how to surf, and I can say I learned it by myself, just by watching all the other good surfers, like Sipi Kabato, Mike Myers, Ashford, Dino Ching. These are all the old timers in my years, and I watched how they surf, and I kind of took a little bit of everything from them. Sipi Kabato is a goofy footer. I'm a regular stance, so I always watched him surf and other good surfers. My era was kind of like Larry Berderman, Michael Hall. They were just a couple years younger than me. All that crowd. And eventually I wanted to master the art of surfing, but my life was changing because of how Kalohi I was. So, I got mixed up in the wild life, as everybody knows. And I cleaned up my act, and Craig Sugihara picked me up in, I think, about 1978. And he wanted me to surf the contest. And he paid my way and everything, and I didn't show up. So he was kind of mad, and he said, in order to get surfboards, you need to enter the contests, stop your drinking, stop doing your drugs, but you gotta enter the contests and make use of your talent. And at that time, Eddie Piper was the champion. He was undefeated. Nobody could beat him. And here came China. Ta-da! And I started winning all the events, the Masters and longboard, and so I took it in like, wow, this is happening. You keep winning, but also, when you win, you gotta learn how to lose. And I couldn't accept that in the beginning. So when I lost, I thought I was doing good, but actually the other guys was doing better than me. So I used to kind of riot a little bit. I just used to riot and stuff. And eventually, like Craig told me, a good surfer is a surfer that can take his losses. Because once you start winning, you get that drive of that feeling and always winning and winning and winning. And then when you do lose, it's kind of like, what? But you're only kind of looking at yourself, yeah. So I accept learning how to lose. And I surf with a lot of great guys like Leonard Foster, Ben Ipa, and a lot more other guys that passed away. So eventually I had my two kids. I have a boy, Kekoa, and then I have my daughter, Kanoilani. Well, they're growing up. At the same time, I was on an amateur tour. I took the amateur tour and traveled all over the United States and everything, and then eventually I went to pro. But when you go to to the pro, you have to go there with a mentality that you gotta accept your losses too when you lose. Because when you go into the pros, you're always thinking that you're gonna give them your 100%, which you do. But then you don't make it, you come like fourth place and stuff like that. It's kind of like disappointing in yourself. So I started to learn how to accept it and everything. And I had Rel's son as a partner. We traveled together. And she taught me how to, first thing you do is you thank your sponsors. Whatever you do, you thank your sponsors first. And for you, you need to remember your sponsors' names. And I went, oh yeah. No. So I wrote a piece of paper, and I always kept it with me. Every contest that I win, and who's my sponsor. So before I get interviewed, I kind of like read it and try to memorize all the sponsors, because I had a lot of sponsors. I don't come from a rich family. My sponsor paid for everything. When I was on the amateur tour, they paid everything, all the way to my meals. And when I went to the pro, everything was taken care of. So I really went luck out in life on this sponsoring and sponsors. But naturally, in order to have a sponsor, you gotta keep winning too. I mean, you know, you can't be coming in semis and then expect to get free boards, right? So I had guys like Jay Richardson, Ben Ipa, you know. They made me the best boards in my life. It started off with Sparky, and then I surfed for Jay Richardson, and then I surfed for Ben Ipa. And then for Town and Country, the last person I surfed for was Mitz. And they all make great boards. All, even Raposa. He makes good boards too. So they made me the champion, you know. They made me how I ended up in surfing. They made me good boards, and I ended up winning a lot of events. So my thank you goes out to them too, because without them, I wouldn't have been here right now talking to you folks. I'd probably be either dead or locked up, because I was on both sides of the world. I was on a good side and I was on the bad side. I was bouncing back and forth. Yeah, so I would like to thank Craig Sugihara a lot, because he's the guy that kept China surfing. And to me, surfing is my whole life. And the surfing was something that kept me together. Every time I jump in the ocean, I always bless myself with the cross. I dive in the water. Every time I get out, I always bless myself, and I always tell the man, thank you very much, bringing me in safe. But longboard single fin is my life, and I get off on that. That's my high now. I don't longboard anymore because I already mastered that. I took up stand-up paddling, and my friend Jim from Tropical Blend, he turned me on to this board. He said, you're gonna fall down, but don't worry about it. So he gave me a board. I threw it in the water over here at Alamana. I just stepped on the board and I paddled all the way down, and I came back and he go, you didn't even fall. I said, you supposed to fall? I don't think so. But I got hooked to it, and I told myself, I'm gonna master this, because it's a different sport actually. I'm gonna master this, I'm gonna learn it, I'm gonna take my ass out there and teach myself how to catch waves. So I did all of that stuff. But at the same time, everything is all surfing. And everything, I'm in the water. As long as I'm in the water, I'm the most happiest guy in the world. I've been called the hog on the log, Spitfire. I've been called everything you can think of. As long as they call me China. And they smile and do that, you know. I love everybody. It's just that when I'm in the water, I love to catch waves. And Surfing means so much to me that I had to teach my kids how to surf. My daughter ended up being a girls champion surfer, and then she got her kids. My son ended up being an amateur champion surfer, and then he ended up being a full-time grand champion pro in Japan. So I think we have enough surfers in our family. I'm trying to get my grandchildren to do football, soccer, and all that, which they do, and they're very good at it. So, and they love to surf too. In the Uemura and the Bila family, it's an automatic thing. You gotta know how to surf. My son-in-law Justin, he's a good skin diver. So my grandchildren, they know how to swim, which is very important in Hawaii for the Hawaii kids, right? So. While I was doing all of this traveling and everything, I finished my amateur tour and then I went to the pro. I did 10 years of that. So I came home in 1984 on one of my pro tour. I came home and before I came home, I started asking friends and sponsors, if I was to open up a contest, would you guys sponsor me? I heard it costs a lot of money to have a contest. I said, well, what are you looking at? Are you looking at a one-shot deal? Or I said, I'm looking at lifetime. I'm looking at long range. My first sponsors was Town & Country, and Craig just stepped up to the plate like that, bam. And then I used to work for the filming company, Magic Island Production. My friend Koi Nishitani is from Japan, but he lives here. He was my big sponsor. He got me Japan sponsors and stuff, and that's how I got the China Longboard Classic going. And at the same time, I wanted to do it for a charity. I didn't want to do it for money in your pocket and stuff like that. I wanted to change the community and try to get rid of, help a lot of these underprivileged kids and disabled kids. So I did all those events like Special Olympics and Big Brothers Big Sisters, Shriners Hospital, Kapiolani Children's Hospital, anything to do with the kids. I was running these events, and then eventually my kids are surfing in the events, the amateur events, and then my daughter was surfing in the events. I noticed at the time there were not enough events for women's and girls. Everything was men's, you know. If they had women's, they only had like this certain bracket, that's it. So since my daughter was growing up, I wanted to have an event for the women and girls. But also too, I wanted to make sure the money go to some charity. So I made it my women's classic strictly for Women and Children's Sex Abuse Treatment Center, Kapiolani Hospital. I'm totally against any kind of sexual abuse. I've been doing the Women's Classic for 20 years. And they helped out a lot of people, a lot of women and boys and girls. And the program is going really good. So if anybody out there want to distribute money or anything like that, contribute, my biggest fundraiser for anybody would be the Women and Children's Sex Abuse Treatment Center. My other big one is Shriners Hospital. My longboard classic, we love Shriners Hospital, you know. I supported them a few years, and I always jump around supporting different foundations, and I even did the suicide crisis center. Running these big events and all the events I do, even the fundraisers that I do, like beer buses and stuff like that, you know, if it wasn't for my wife, when I was going through this medical thing before I got the operation, I actually didn't want to go. I just wanted to fade out of life already. My wife was the one was pushing me with my friend Guy DiMello, and my wife. Everybody knows my wife as Fran. She's my boss. I mean, not only the boss running the event, but she's my boss in my life. She takes care of my medication. She takes care of everything. She takes care of the bills. She takes care of everything. She takes care of me. and also she's the backbone of the China Longboard Surfing Classic. For the past 28 years, but we've been together 30 years. Thank you very much. Best way to telling you thank you is on TV. Soul Surfers. Thank you very much too, Soul Surfers. You know, I hardly do interviews and stuff like that, and when you folks called me, it was, for me, I thought it was an honor. It's an honor for me speaking on the behalf of my family and letting the community know how I feel, and to all my friends in the world, like Australia, France, New Zealand, the United States, Japan, South America, Brazil, everybody that comes to my surfing classic, I just want to say thank you very much. Thank you for the people and the kids of Hawaii, because the money that we raising, it's to help the kids in Hawaii. All the money and to pay the expenses to do an event like this, and then after that, I spread it out to like fundraisers and stuff. So I don't only just concentrate on one fundraiser, but the money goes to all different types and helping out the community. So everybody around the world, thank you for your support. Thank you very much, Hawaii. Thank you for everything, your support, all my sponsors. Luki from 88 Tees, you're the greatest. You're the greatest. You're the greatest sponsor in the world. You're the greatest friend that I have. Gavin, thank you for catching my back, bro. You know what you do. You make sure everything's in line with my T-shirts and my part of my events. Thank you very much, and banners and everything. Again, Koki Nishitani from Magic Island Production. The reason why I'm thanking him is because in order to start this event, he stepped up to the plate. He brought in his Japan sponsors. He made it happen. So Magic Island Production, Koki Nishitani, thank you very much. I bet you thought I forgot you. I didn't. I don't forget people that helped me. And also to Stan Ishii is one of the quiet people, the sponsors, but they're always there for 33 years. Always there, always donating. So thank you very much. And also all my other sponsors. Kimo Dowsett, the Dowsett family from Nuanu. Thank you, brother Kimo. I hope you get better. I hope you, health-wise, everything, all come good. Armstrong Produce, Mark. We both stand up surf out here, and he's a really great guy. Mark Toria, he's a really great guy from Armstrong Produce. And everybody else, like Bud Light and everybody, thank you very much. Again, I need to thank Quicksilver for sponsoring my clothing back in my days of growing up. Billabong, Rip Curl, thank you for sponsoring my clothing. But most of all, Town and Country, Linda and Craig Sugihara, thank you for keeping my life in line, making me who I am now, and also sponsoring me, my kids, and all the other kids in Hawaii, because I can say I donated over 500 surfboards to kids. I can personally say that. Thank you, Craig. Thank you for all the other surfboard shapers, all that donation you guys did, and there's a lot of you folks. So I'm getting old. I can't remember everybody, but you guys understand that. So with the clothing of the interview, I like to say that I tell the kids all the time at my event. What I tell them on the ending of the event is go home, tell your mom and dad, I love you. If your grandma and grandpa is watching you, just tell them, I love you. If your sister is the one only watching you, you tell them I love you. Because from experience, you can see me today and I can be gone tomorrow. But at least you got to say, I love you. So all you kids out there, when you tell your kids, you tell your parents, I love you, it means a lot to us. It means more than money. So go home, kids and tell mom and dad, grandpa, grandpa. Simple words, I love you. And again, everybody, thank you very much. And Soul Surfers, thank you for the interview. And everybody in Hawaii that supported the Surfing Classic, thank you, and I love you too. Aloha.
The kids are laughing in their sleep, swimming through their dreams into the morning. So peaceful, all the stories that were told, lead them through the night back from their shadows. So much joy, every little girl and boy, even better when they wake up tomorrow.
The Aikau family, thank you very much. Myra Aikau, Saul Aikau, Clyde Aikau. They're the living Aikau family right now. I'd like to thank the whole family for your support, of my event, support of my family. You watch my kids grow up. And also I want to thank the DeSoto family. Auntie Frenchie DeSoto helped me out with my events. For 32 years, this year is going to be 33. The DeSoto family always supported my event. They always had one DeSoto surfing in the event. And I thank you very much. Kealanas, I thank you too. Buffalo, get well, bro. And Dimomi, I love you. And Ryan, everybody, Rusty, everyone. I'll see you in the future on the beach, or I'll see you in the ocean. God bless.
Your crazy curly morning hair, your mark up.
Kanoi.
Kanoi. China Kanoi, take one. China Kanoi, take two.
I'll take two on Kanoi.
Kanoi, okay.
But anyway, God bless. Oh, this is my daughter, Kanoi Lani. She's my second girl. Anyway, thank you and aloha.
Mom, Dad, thank you so much. I love you guys. All right.